Please unmute yourself and we will repeat the first verse. ब्रह्मा देवानां प्रथमः सम्बभूव
ब्रह्मा
देवानां
प्रथमः
प्रथमः सम्भूव
सम्बभूव विश्वस्य कर्ता भुवनस्य गोप्ता
विश्वस्य कर्ता भुवनस्य गोप्ता
स ब्रह्म विद्यां सर्वविद्या प्रतिष्ठाम् स
ब्रह्म विद्यां सर्वविद्या प्रतिष्ठाम्
अथर्वाय ज्येष्ठपुत्राय प्राह
अथर्वय ज्येष्ठपुत्राय प्राह
Okay. So the Upanishad begins by giving the parampara, the tradition through which knowledge has come down to us of the Vedas in particular. So it says that of the Devas, Devas again, please don't interpret as those Swarg Nivasi, Indra, etc., but uh, intelligent people. So, of all the learned people, Brahma was the first. He was Vishwasya Karta. He was the doer of the world, of everything. Bhuvanasya Gopta, and the protector of the world. Okay, this again, it seems like we are talking of one Devata only, but hold on. I'm just giving you the literal meaning first. Sa Brahma Vidyam, Sarva Vidya Pratishtham. He, that Brahma Vidya, okay, Brahma Vidya also we will look at, which is the foundation for all knowledge. He gave this to his eldest son, that is Atharva. Okay, Atharva, the Pratipadik for all those who are Sanskrit students is Atharvan, which becomes Atharva in Prathama Vibhakti. So therefore we call it Atharva. And here we are seeing Atharvaya Chaturthi Vibhakti. So he gave this knowledge first and foremost to his eldest son, which shows you that already the tradition of family was there. So he had a family and he had this eldest son to whom he gave this knowledge. So, of all the learned people, Brahma was the first who came to know about, who understood the Vedas. Brahma Vidya is are the Vedas, okay, which are the foundation of all knowledge. The root of all knowledge exists in the Vedas. All knowledge that is there with mankind, it has come from the Vedas. Yes, we do have a brain and we are able to figure some things out ourselves, but that is like tribal people would. You will not be able to go beyond a certain level. The level which you are at today, you will not reach it. You would remain a tribal person if you had no Vedas. So the Vedas are the foundation of all knowledge. And Brahma was the one who first came to know all four Vedas. See, we know that Rig Veda was revealed to Agni, Yajurved was revealed to Vayu, and Samaved was revealed to Aditya, and Atharved to Angira. These were the four initial stages who were there, who actually received this knowledge, but they came to know about it individually. And then they all taught one person, and he was Brahma. So that is that Brahma that we are talking about in the beginning of this Upanishad, which is now tracing the roots of that knowledge starting from Brahma. So that Brahma had a son called Atharva, to whom he first taught this knowledge. Now, Vishwasya Karta. So, firstly, Vishwa in Sanskrit, the original Sanskrit, does not mean Sansar. It actually means everything. So he set up the whole foundation, the structure of society, of the community. He set up what the people who were with him, the Vedic people, how they should behave, how they should live, how they should conduct themselves. So that is why he's called Vishwasya Karta. He set out the first rules. Bhuvanasya Gupta. Bhuvan is again a word which is usually it stands for um, the world, but here again it is to be referred to as the community. So he also brought in law and order to make sure that people followed those rules which he was laying down, and therefore he became the protector of those people, because good people have to be protected by law and order, otherwise the wicked people would take over and create chaos. Therefore, he is called Vishwasya Karta, Bhuvanasya Gopta. These, you can see the beginnings of Puranic thinking over here, where they start saying that Brahma spouted, he had four heads, and he spouted one Ved from each head, and then he created the world, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all that he created the word. You could read that here if you felt like it. But if you want to really understand what it means, then you should go for the real meaning and not for some nonsense. Okay. Is there any question here? No, easy one, right? Okay. So let's go to the next one. Atharvaneyaam pravadeta brahma. So let me go by the old tune. Please unmute yourself and repeat after me. अथर्वणेयां प्रवदेत ब्रह्मा
अथर्वणेयां प्रवदेत ब्रह्मा
थर्वातां पुरो वाचाङ्गिरे ब्रह्म विद्याम् थर्वातां पुरो
वाचाङ्गिरे ब्रह्मविद्याम्
स भारद्वाजाय सत्यवाहाय
स भारद्वाजाय सत्यवाहाय
प्राह भारद्वाजोऽङ्गिरसे परावराम्
प्राह भारद्वाजो अंगिरसे परावराम्.
The tune is a little difficult. We should get rid of the tune and just speak it. Would you prefer that? Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, we'll just speak it then. Okay, so this continues with that tradition. Atharvaneyam prabodeta brahma, atharvatam purovacha angire brahma vidyam. That Brahma Vidya, which was told by Brahma to Atharva, was then told by Atharva to Angi. This Pratipadik for that this word is Angir, and in the Prathama Vibhakti it becomes Angi, and in the Chaturthi Vibhakti which is here it becomes Angire. So he taught it to Angi, another sage who followed him. Sa Bharadwajaya Satyavahaya. There is a typo. Actually, it's not a typo. There seems to be a part of it. So, if you are following this Hari Krishna Das Goenka, this Gita Press book, which I had given to the older student, then it says Satyavahaya, but looks like it is Satyavahaya. So, this Angi gave this knowledge to Satyavaha, who was of the Bharadwaja Kul. So, in Sanskrit, we maintained the lineage. So, if somebody belonged to the Bharadwaja Kul, he was called Bharadwaja. So, that surname which we see today of Bharadwaj actually used to imply that this person is from the Bharadwaj Kul. So this Satyavaha was from the Bharadwaja dynasty. Bharadwajo Angirase Paravaram. And this Bharadwaj passed on that knowledge to Angiras. This is Angiras, which becomes Angira in the Prathama Vibhakti. Paravaram, Brahma Vidyam, which is continuing from the second line. So Paravaram has two meanings here. That is para and avara. So that which is passed on from the first to the next, next to the next, that tradition, that parampara. So this knowledge which came down in this way, this is that traditional knowledge. Another meaning which is applicable because of what comes next in the Upanishad is lower and higher knowledge, lesser and greater knowledge. So that also meaning could be considered here. Both meanings are possible, but it's more likely to be based on the context, the paramparagat, the traditional knowledge which was handed down from seer to seer. So we are looking at now 4 generations from which where the knowledge of the Vedas has come down, and we end at Angiras or Angira. Okay, any question here? Okay, let us go to the next one. We will just read this. Shaunako Have. Repeat, please.
Shaunako Have.
Mahashalo Angirasam.
Mahashalo Angirasam.
Vidivad Upasannaha.
Vidivad Upasannaha.
Paprachha.
Paprach.
Kasminnu Bhagavo.
Kasminnu Bhagavo.
Vijnate.
Vijnate.
Sarvamidam.
Sarvamidam.
Vijnatam Bhavatiti.
Vijnatam Bhavati.
So this is a very famous line of this is in prose actually, one of the really famous lines, and it contains a question which gives me goosebumps. Actually, there are a lot of places in this Upanishad which give me goosebumps. The question itself is so fantastic. So this Shaunak, one Shaunak, who was a Mahashala, he came to Angiras. The Angiras whom we saw in the last verse, he comes to that Angiras. Vidivat, in the prescribed fashion. And he asked Angiras. So what was the prescribed fashion? Anybody can answer that? What was the prescribed fashion of coming to a sage?
Coming with a samidha.
Correct. So you bring some samidha in your hand. This was samidha is pieces of firewood which were used to perform Agnihotra. Yeah. So since the sage would be having Agnihotra performed every day, morning and evening, and in the ashram, you always brought that as the gift to the sage. There was not too much material stuff which the sage needed. So this was one of the things he needed. So what did he ask? He said, Kasminu Bhagavo Vijnate. Knowing what, O Lord? Bhagava. Bhagava is O Bhagavan. Bhagavan is originally it means somebody who has a lot of wealth. So this person has the wealth of knowledge, not material wealth of things, but the wealth of knowledge. So, O Lord, so that is, by the way, another thing. Bhagavan does not always mean God in Sanskrit. Everybody was called Bhagavan. Yeah, a venerated person was called Bhagavan. So, Kasmin, knowing what, oh dear sage, Sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati. Everything here becomes known. Knowing what, everything becomes known? That in itself, as you can see, is a very mind-blowing question for you to even think that there should be something which, if you came to know, you would come to know everything, is something which we don't normally think of, right? But he is
Yeah.
saying that I see this world and I see that everything seems to have a cause and effect relationship. Everything originates from a cause. So, if we go back in that series, we should be able to come to some primordial causes, which, if I can understand, then I should be able to understand this whole series. This whole world should become clear to me. So, what is that thing? Please tell me. So, of course, you know that this is referring to Brahma, and Brahma Vidya is what he's asking about. Okay, now just coming back to this word Mahashala. Mahashala, this Hari Prasad, Hari Krishna Das Goenka ji, he has said that according to the Puranas, there was a sage called Shaunak who owned a very big university where, according to him, there were 88,000 sages who were there, who used to study over there. So it refers to that Shaunak, and because it was a Mahavidyalaya, a Mahapatshala, therefore that is why he's called Mahashala. But other commentators, by the way, I'm following three books, which I'm. This second one is this S. Radhakrishnan's Principal Upanishad, and there is one more very fat book which I'm using, which is written by Satyavrat Siddhanta Lankarji. So those other two, and I'm not following that Karan Singh, whose book I have given you. I have given you only because it is in English and it is available freely on the net. So the other two I have said that this Mahashal actually refers to a person, a wealthy householder who had big shalas. Shala also refers to house. So he had these very big abodes, and that is why he was called Mahashala. So, be that as it may, this is a little bit of history which is there. This Shaunak was a great householder or a great teacher to begin with in his own right, but he has come to this great sage Angiras whom he has heard about, and he wants Brahma Vidya from him. The way he has asked it is beautiful. So, since we were a bit late, shall I proceed with one more? It's again simple.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so please unmute yourself and repeat after me. Tasmai sahovacha.
Tasmai sahovacha.
Dve vidye veditavye.
Dve vidye veditavye.
Itihasma.
Itihasma.
Yad brahma vido vadanti.
Yad brahma vido vadanti.
Para chaiva paracha.
Para chaiva paracha.
So tasmai sahovacha. To him he said. Who said? Angiras. Angira said. Dve vidye veditavye. There are two types of knowledge worth knowing. Itihasma indicates far back in time this incident has occurred. Yat Brahma Vido Vadanti, about which people who know Brahma, again, Brahma you must understand both as Brahman, that is Ishwar, and Brahma, that is Veda. So, those who know the Vedas or those who know God, actually, here God is a more appropriate meaning. So, those who know God speak about two types of knowledge. What are these two types of knowledge? Para and apara. Para is higher knowledge, and apara is lesser knowledge. Okay, so two types of knowledge. This is again a very famous saying which is there, and in fact, people like to define this Upanishad just by this statement that it has divided knowledge into two parts, one para and one apara. And of course, people interpret it in their own ways. But let us look at the next one also so that you will have something to ponder about. Tatra para
Tatra para
Tatra para
Rigvedo Yajurvedah
Rigvedo
Rigvedo
Yajurvedah
Yajurvedah
Samvedo Tharvavedah
Samvedo
Samvedo
Atharvedah
Atharvedah
Shiksha Kalpo
Shiksha
Shiksha
Kalpo
Kalpo
Vyakaranam Niruktam
Vyakaranam
Vyakaranam
Niruktam
Niruktam
Chando Jyotishamiti
Chandu
Chando Jyotishamiti
Jyotishamiti
Atha Parayaya
Atha
Atha
Parayaya
Parayaya
Tadaksharam Adhigamyate.
Tadaksharam
Tadaksharam Adhigamyate.
Gamyate.
So this is the remarkable answer which he gives, Angira. He says, Tatra apara. Among those two types of knowledge, para and apara, apara consists of Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharved, and the 6 auxiliary sciences which have to be read to understand the Vedas. These are Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakaran, Nirukta, Chanda, and Jyotish. Okay, these are the 6 angas of they are called Vedangas, Shadangas of the Vedas, which actually should be understood by anybody trying to understand the Vedas. We will just go over them, just accept it at this level right now. Then these are all part of apara, lesser knowledge. Atha para is that by which we come to know that akshara, that Brahma, who does not reduce, who is immutable, who doesn't change, who is never destroyed, who remains the same. That Akshara Brahma is we come to know through that knowledge. So see this this classification seems so absurd upfront. You would have classified Rigveda, Yajurveda, all the Vedas as something which helps us to reach Brahma. But Angira, in one shot, he has uh, collapsed the whole building, and he has said that all this is lesser knowledge. Why? Because most of the Vedas even are concerned with your routine life, with your mundane life, with your material life. But it does have the portions on spiritual life as well. Those are relatively small. If you had to take the whole Vedas and see how much of it is consisting of material stuff, how the king should behave, how the Kshatriya should behave, how the Brahman should behave, all that will probably take up 90%. And maybe even less than 10% would be on achieving moksha, the ultimate goal of life, that is to see God, to see the self. That part, since so few people are actually concerned with that part, once the pyramid comes up, just like a child does, children who take up nursery are so many, then who come to class 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on until you reach up to PhD level, hardly anybody is left. So similarly, to achieve the highest spiritual goal, hardly you can just count them on your fingertips how many people are there. So most of the Vedas also are um, just telling you about how to live your worldly life, okay, your duties and responsibilities. And sorry, okay, I'm not sure who's speaking. And so the remaining, that is why Angira has classified them as apara vidya only, and only the very small spiritual part which tells you how to attain moksha, how to see God, how to know what to do. So just like we have studied the yoga darshanam, Sankhya darshanam, the Upanishads, this Mundak itself, this is just the beginning. It is just starting from here. Now the real Upanishad will start, which wants to tell you what Brahma is like. The rest of the Upanishad is actually about taking you to moksha, taking you to Brahma. So you can see it is such a lovely Upanishad. The starting itself is quite beautiful, if you ask me. Okay, any questions here? Yes, tell me, Ronak.
My question is here, Angiras has said we need to know Apara and Para both.
Correct.
So this Upanishad will delve into only Para, which is about Brahma. So for Apara, he's assuming ki you would know by your usual
Correct.
life.
Correct. Exactly. Exactly. There are lots of sources for
Okay.
Aparavidya, but it is the Paravidya which is you find teachers also are very few. So this Upanishad is also fully devoted to Paravidya.
But I have a question. But don't you have to know the Apara also in order to build like a foundation to understand the Paravidya?
Yes, yes.
You have to,
That.
right?
Yeah. You have to know. See, first you will be a worldly person to begin with. You will be a worldly person, right? And then only you will move up. So you are not born a sage or a seer. You are not born with Vedic knowledge in you. So you are to be taught. So first you will learn to live life in this world. First you need to master that. To master that, you need to know Aparavidya. Then only you can move to Paravidya. And that too only some people will move, others will stay with the Apara world only. Any
The
other
fun is
questions
here
there?
that Shaunak came to seek the one thing and he answered everything.
Correct. He got
Apara
everything
and
in
Para.
return. Yeah.
But in Gita, Apara and Apara is what to say, described in a different way. Apara is like a science and all, worldly knowledge, and whereas Para happens to be the learning all this Upanishad and everything that has been in that way, it has been interpreted in that one, no?
So it's about the same then.
Mm.
It's about the same then. Because Upanishads are mostly spiritual
The
knowledge.
building block is very much needed. Before we go up, higher up, we need to have the building block as a apara, then only we can go to the para.
Right. So we have only now 10 minutes left, folks. So we'll quickly read our this thing, Shanti part. If we get some time, then we shall proceed to have little more conversation.
Okay.
Are you seeing the correct thing? Because I am not.
We are seeing, yeah.
Shanti part, yeah. Om Yate Rudra Shiva Tanur
Om Yate Rutra Shiva Tanu
Aghora Papa Kashini
Aghora Papa Kashini
Ayanastanva Shantamaya
Tayanastasva Shantamaya
Girishanta Bhichakashihi
Girishanta Vichakashihi
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, so I think we will leave it at that today. And this was a relatively easy session. We'll delve deeper next time. Please do prepare. Please do go over it. Please ponder over the question. It is a very interesting question. Please do have a look at it. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.